I'm James Dunn here from CJDC-TV. It is by-election time here in Fort St. John. I know we're not in our usual place of Festival Plaza for this particular interview, but I assure you there's a very good reason for that. Our final candidate, taking a look at all the candidates throughout the week, but our final one for this week is Trystan Jones. He's joining me via Zoom. Trystan, welcome aboard and nice to meet you, at least virtually.
Thanks so much for having me on the show here, James. I'm quite excited to have our discussion and to let the people of Fort St. John know a little bit more about me.
Yeah, and again, like we're doing this via Zoom. I understand that you're not actually in Fort St. John campaigning, so could you just explain it to us just a little bit?
For sure. Yeah. So last July, when the pandemic was kind of in full swing in the Lower Mainland, I took a position at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver in an office capacity. I've been kind of working and jumping between clinics and providing relief wherever I can. And so it's kind of all hands on deck right now in healthcare. And with the travel restrictions and with the way things are right now, they really need me down here. And I've been trying to provide as best care as I can to some of these patients during this pandemic and just do as best as I can to help out. It's been a tough ride for some people. And if I can provide support down here as best as I can, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and just to, just kind of maybe give us a little bit of update what's going on over there, because, our situation here in Fort St. John it might just be a little bit different. So what's it like in working in a hospital in the biggest city, the biggest city in British Columbia? What's it like working in the hospitals and the ICU?
Yeah, it's challenging for sure. If anyone has followed some of the news down here, we've had a number of outbreaks over the year, and like some of the wards near my clinics have had outbreaks, and just recently, even here a couple days ago, with the wave of new restrictions and stuff, we just got word as well that up to 1,700 surgeries were being canceled down here, and that is quite challenging, especially for the department I'm currently working in, because we provide implants for people and such, and those have kind of been set aside for now so that we can make surge space just in case, because we are kind of anticipating a wave of hospitalizations over the next coming weeks.
And so, just getting back to the reason why we're here on Zoom, by-election. You are a candidate. You put your name forward. One of the first people to put your name forward. So, just putting all that healthcare aside, putting all that education aside, while you're in Vancouver, but just tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you're like as a person, and just more about your life story.
Yeah. So I was born in Fort St. John. I grew up in the Montney and Rose Prairie area for most of my early childhood. I went to Upper Pine Elementary School, where I kind of got my first taste of social issues in Mr. Neufeld's grade 8 class, where he kind of sort of was my inspiration to start getting a bit more interested into, social justice and politics and stuff like that. I was a pretty active member of the community theater community in Fort St. John before I went away to university. I was a proud member of Stage North, as well as the Spectacular Chair Factory Productions, a short-lived but student-run organization where we put on a number of different productions. I came down to Vancouver initially to start going to school for political science, and I'm happy to say that I'll be receiving my degree here in June. I also I took a little gap year because when I first came to school, I was pretty young. I had just turned 17. And so I took a gap year in between my third and fourth year, and went and lived in Paris for a little over a year. And I got to immerse myself in the European culture and stuff like that, and also get an understanding of the way other societies and cultures operate, which was quite beneficial, not only just to my education, but to the things that I really care about, and some of the topics that I will be that are cornerstone issues to my platform.
Yeah, and one of the things that people might recognize you from here in Fort St. John is the Black Lives Matter protest back in June.
Mhm.
You were there with a couple of other of your friends with signs and making sure that uh, the anti-racism message was heard, even in
Mhm.
the Peace region. Uh, when you decided to do this protest, did that kind of inspire you to be more of an activist and have more, make sure that you use more of this message? And maybe did that kind of inspire you that maybe holding political office like this by-election and having a seat on Fort St. John City Council, did that kind of inspire you and have that more of that click in your brain thinking that you could have a much more positive message?
Definitely. Like the protest that we helped to organize last year, it was within solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. And the message that we got from a lot of the members of the community was just how important it was and how this message was something that needed to be discussed within the community, just because it's something that affects quite a lot of people. It doesn't really matter what minority group you come from. It's everyone has experienced that sort of treatment in some way. And so when the by-election came down and the news was that there was going to be a vacant seat, I'm not going to lie and say that I definitely didn't think about this right away, because change can only happen if all levels of government are stepping up. And the municipal level is where you can see the most and influence the most direct change with your community. And so I think it is vital to have someone on council with a diverse set of skills and also, background, and that they can bring to the table to help start address these issues that aren't, necessarily discussed in our typical public discourse.
Yeah. Yeah, and you, even though you are, you're quite young compared to the rest of the candidates who have families, they have more business experience. The fact that you've been all over the world, like you lived in Paris and you've been all over British Columbia, is that one thing that might stand out to you versus your opponents, that you have more, I guess, real world experience being all to these different places around the world?
I think so in a way, but I also believe that my youth is a good thing. The post COVID-19 world is going to come, and the federal and international governments have all signaled that change is happening. COVID-19 revealed many different social inequities within our societies, and so I think having someone who's young and who is going to be living through all of this, but also has an insight into the most pressing issues of the day, I think that is a benefit and a boon for council, to have young and fresh and new ideas, but also someone who is from the community and was born and raised in the Peace region, and it provides a unique perspective, a different perspective to a lot of the other candidates, I believe.
I guess just my last question would be, what's your message to voters, and what's probably the one thing that probably makes you different? What makes you unique and makes you what's the one thing that you have that maybe your opponents don't have, that kind of splits you away from the rest of the field? And what's your message to voters?
What I'm looking to bring to city council and to bring to the voters is it's not only just addressing these social issues that are part of my platform. It's also unity. I believe that many of the people in town really do believe that these issues need to be addressed, and I think that this is a fantastic opportunity for us to unite around the most vulnerable people in our society and provide them the support we need. COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on various different groups within our society, and so we've seen an unprecedented amount of love and support for these people. And so I believe that what I'm bringing to the table is a fresh and young perspective, with the hope of uniting the groups that have felt that they have not had a voice, and that they haven't had the courage or the wherewithal to to stand up for themselves and to make their voices heard. And that's what I hope to do, is be a voice, a unifying voice for the people that have felt that their voices have been silenced.
Well, Trystan, it was a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to get to know you, and hopefully you at home did too. But the by-election is only on May 15th, so a little bit more time left to hear from these candidates. But we're also having an all candidates forum on May the 3rd from 7 until 8:30 p.m. That way you can get to know more of the issue side versus the more personality videos that we made here over the course of the week. So tune in on May 3rd from 7 till 8:30 right here on CJDC-TV's Facebook page.